you are online with us since 7 hours, but I am still super happy to close this day with one of probably the most interesting contacts that I made here in Austin, because Anthony is an expert when it comes to digital and IT solutions. He would explain in a second what he does and what MC Austin does. But Anthony, already from my side, thank you a lot for joining this session and joining the summit to share not only about your work, but also share your vision, right? Which is like super interesting. And we both talked and developed a lot together to see how we can define the future of relationship management. Talking about relationship management, there's of course also always the ask for a customer relationship management system, a CRM, and we are not providing CRM functionalities yet. And you then also brought in the perspective, Anthony, that CRM in times of AI maybe is anyway not the thing that companies are looking for. So I'm super happy to look forward to the session. Before we go in medias res, as we say in German, but before we take care about content, I would love to give you the stage, give you some words to introduce yourself and also share a bit about MC Austin.
Okay, well, great. Well, I'm Anthony Marino, the CEO of MC Austin. First, let me say congratulations on the summit, Sven. I mean, it looks like it's been a huge success. So compliments to you and your team.
Thank you. Take it.
Yeah, of course. MC Austin we're technology consultants. We've been in the Austin area, which of course is a hotbed for technology for many years. We principally focus on public and private sector markets. We are focused on the small and medium base of clients. And what we do is we help organizations identify technology needs, select the types of solutions that they need. We help them oversee the implementation, and then we stay with the clients for the life of the technology. And we do this from everything from internet connectivity to telecom solutions, to managed services, cybersecurity, and of course, in today's world, AI solutions. And it is there where we see us positioned working towards the future. So let me stop there as an overview, and I'll let you guide the conversations, Ben.
No, so what I definitely actually found interesting is that you had this broad view on so many different areas, even if it's all somehow related to IT and tech, but still you got this overview. Maybe you can elaborate a bit more on how many customers actually are you serving? It's in the hundreds, I remember definitely. So you have like a huge insights of what currently companies are looking for.
Yeah, so today we have about 350 active clients. Those are mostly in the Austin area because we happen to be based here. So, from a legacy standpoint, it was easier to meet with clients going back several years. So that enabled us to establish a big foothold in the Austin area. But as COVID hit and video conferencing became more prevalent in today's world, our business has expanded to Texas and even the United States. So we operate pretty broadly today in those terms. And in many cases, we've been dealing with clients for years now that we've never met in person. It's all over video.
Yeah. How are you in contact with them? So what do you do exactly with these customers?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the issue, and where perhaps the intersection with CRM systems come into play. So we have, because we offer this array of services, our goal with clients is to establish a relationship, provide them whatever that immediate need for them may be. But then over the course of time, continue to cycle through our business model, which is discovery, solution selection, implementation, and then ongoing support. And given the array of technologies that we provide, because we can really help a client with the entire tech stack. So given that backdrop, we want to be able to stay in touch with those clients on an ongoing basis. Of course, one of the headwinds we run into is that there's only so much time in a day, right? You can only make so many phone calls. You can only generate so many emails. And so we end up hitting a wall because so much of our work is a one-to-one relationship kind of perspective. That's today's limitation. And that's generally how we would do business, is continue to reach out with these clients.
So I remember you saying that you said, hey, you would love to get in contact with the clients more often because you need it actually to realize what are their needs and what are the requirements. But you said then today you are only able to contact them manually.
Well, yeah. And look, there's a variety of needs to talk to clients, right? So a lot of organizations try to do these things through newsletters, which oftentimes fall on deaf ears. I mean, clients don't want any more marketing emails, so to speak. They want interactions that are germane or specific to a particular topic that is important to them. And so from that perspective, we have to establish relationships and contact with the client on a periodic basis. For some clients, it's monthly. In fact, I have some clients where it's every 2 weeks. In other cases, it may be quarterly, semi-annually, and with perhaps smaller inactive clients, it might be annually. But if we don't stay in touch with them, one thing is true, we will lose them. And I think that is the nature of any business, right? So that's what's important here.
And you're then currently using a normal CRM system for this, or how do you actually track the contact and track the needs and the conversations you have?
Yes. So we do have a CRM system. Frankly, over the past few years, we've tried a variety of different CRM systems. And today we do a lot of personal outreach. So the CRM system is a tool that we may use, but at the end of the day, it's still a contact that has to be generated or facilitated by one of our team members. And so we're back to the one-on-one personal relationship interaction that is frankly limiting.
Yeah, I remember now also speaking with our customers saying that today they place their CRM system next to then the LoftOS customer portal. They do all the interaction part within then the customer portal, and then have the CRM system to track and store data. We talked about why, especially your customers, if they are in the smaller space, are not just going to Salesforce or to HubSpot and they just buy everything from there, right? It's a pressing issue. Maybe you can elaborate quickly on that one.
Well, so from a CRM standpoint, I mean, there's a number. Okay, there's two big points that I would make there, though, Sven. One is CRMs are tools that enable outreach and document outreach, and are the truth source for a lot of organizations in terms of storing their data, but they don't generate the contact for you. That still has to be initiated by the person. So it's a tool once the individual generates the activity. So that's one point. The second point I would make is that these tools are very expensive, and to use the more professional tools or modules within some of these tools, the expense goes up dramatically. If you're a large organization, those costs are absorbed more easily, but in a small organization where those costs become a very large percentage of the overall spend, they're really difficult to absorb. And not only is the cost of these systems on a recurring basis a heavy burden, but also the implementation and ongoing administration. So these tools are not off the shelf ready to apply. You have to customize it for your environment. I know some small organizations that I interact with that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of years implementing and maintaining the systems. So this becomes very, very difficult. It's hard for me to see how that's a sustainable model for small business going forward.
You told me this actually, and it was a funny situation because we had this conversation that LoftOS currently does not provide real CRM possibilities. And then I was showing also what I showed to the audience this morning, that we are currently preparing these kind of table views to say, hey, with these kind of table views, and of course other things, but also with these table views, we are getting there that more and more CRM or ERP features are coming into LoftOS. And while I was telling you this, you then said at some point, hey, who needs a CRM system in the area of AI, right? And that was like mind-opening, the discussion that we had. And I remember that we continued afterwards using the telephone to go over it, to get a better idea of how you see actually then the future of these CRM systems. And you already said like one important point, that the most important part is this interactions, and that the CRMs actually are not able to interact with customers. But in the terms of AI and all the AI agents that are coming in, we come to a new, what we called for the session now, a new era where people will expect from their systems that they at least support with this customer engagement, and not just be this, what we also have to be honest, the stupid dead-ish kind of database system, right? So how do you think AI will play a role there, and what will be the change?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very important question. And I think there's a couple of pieces of information I would offer up. First of all, when we look at CRMs today, as I said, they're tools. Today, we have entered the world of agentic AI. I think everyone understands that. The larger organizations are really in the lead in this regard, but eventually it's got to trickle its way into small and medium businesses. This agentic AI is really comprised of workflows. And so when you think about it from that standpoint, we need that kind of environment in the small business arena. Now, I saw a comment a few months ago from one of the leading consulting firms that made a lot of sense to me. In this world of agentic AI, it's no longer going to be acceptable to add AI to existing tools. You're going to have to rethink the operation with AI in mind, not just adding AI to what you already do. I think about that in terms of, it kind of sounds to me like if you have an existing operation and you try to add AI to it, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on the wound. You're going to, you're helping it, but you're not really solving the problem. You're still limited by whatever structure you have. So you're going to have to take a step back, I think, and re-envision your entire operation with AI in mind. So what is possible? Let's start with AI, and how do you manage the business structure with AI as opposed to how do you buttress the current structure with AI? Those are two different equations, I think. And so in my mind, that's where the world is going. That could be, obviously, the future will bear out what's successful and not one way or the other, but that could be a determining factor in my view. We'll see.
That's totally understood. And you are also then one of the thought leaders, or at least people that I use to think through all these new developments. We had this session on our LoftOS agent part, and you give so much input already. I will not put up the slides now with the agents again. We saw, you already saw it twice and during the day. So, but I'm super happy that we also now shared a bit of the vision behind it, like where it comes from, so that we also know where we can take our inspiration from to then try to develop a system that goes in this direction, that take some of the burdens that you have with communicating to the customers. So take it from you, putting it into an agentic system that at least supports you doing it. It doesn't have to write the emails completely on its own, right? But at least support you in preparing the emails, in preparing messages, in preparing notifications, in preparing formats. So someone that helps you guide building up this customer communication. And we talk about customer communication in terms of a company. But we know that also from the experience with our other partners and customers, it's the same thing for an association that needs to communicate with the members, because the members at some point, they also need to continue and prolong their membership and pay membership fees. It's the universities actually that need to connect with the industry partners to make the money with them. And it's at some point also the publics, right, that needs to sell their services to the companies within the region. So this topic is everywhere. CRMs are everywhere. And then the changes of CRMs with AI is also everywhere. Taking a look at the time, we're already a few minutes over, but I loved it so much. Thank you already for joining. And also making this point, I came to Texas in end of 24. My first expression was going to one of the supermarkets here, these tool shops. And I met a guy that I need assistance from with a hat, and he was speaking English to me, and I was not understanding a word. And I said, wow, if this continues now and all the Texans speak to you like this, then you will have issues. But then we met, and I was totally impressed by your clear expression and the clear English. And I said, yes, thank you. Someone that I can talk to, because he's so easy to understand. So that's also
thank you.
One of the things.
Can I leave you with one parting thought?
Anytime.
So these, when you think about these systems, these CRMs and all that, well, obviously they have evolved and they have a lot of great features today. But if you really think about it, they've been around for 20 years. So we, in effect, are using a 20-year-old concept. Every time a new technology comes around, there is the opportunity for disruption in the marketplace. The question I would ask, and this is really a question for you and your team, is this one of those times? Is this an inflection point, given the new technology that we have today in AI, that it will create an opportunity to disrupt the existing business models? I don't know the answer to that. Perhaps you and your team would be the better ones to answer that going forward.
Not today, but it's definitely actually something we take a look at, because I also believe that there's something, having stupid CRM system on the one hand and having all these AI agents working on the other end. Let's see how this works actually together. Maybe it's not. And then let's also see whether for LoftOS there is somewhere space in this area. Thank you, Anthony, for joining us for this session. And thank all of you to also now stay so long. I know it was a long day, especially if you followed us from the very first moment. So it's almost now 8 hours of input, not counting the little lunch break. There is not so much left to say. I think we got so much ideas and so much best practices that in the next days and weeks, we have a lot to think about. One thing that is on my head that I want to share with you, if you now find today interesting ideas, interesting modules, interesting processes, but you do not know exactly where it came from, or you just want to connect with these guys, please address this with your CSM. They will definitely help you to do also then the connections to other LoftOS users. They will also, of course, help you to implement similar ideas on your platforms. So that's all clear. So please feel free, to reach out then to the CSM if there was something interesting. I have one last big announcement to make, and I will share the last time my screen because we already want, first of all, to communicate the date for the LoftOS Summit 2026. Gonna be the 5th and the 6th of November. And I just realized that also November 6th, 26 gonna be a Thursday, the same as November 6, 25. That's interesting. So we will have the summit Wednesday and Thursday, November 26, again in the Digital Church in Aachen. So it's gonna be again offline event. We will probably provide some kind of possibility to also join digitally if you are abroad. We learned this morning that we had people from Japan, from China, from all the Arabic countries, from Europe, and then also now from the States. So it's, of course, hard for everyone to fly into Aachen, even if it's worth it. But for the majority, then we hope that we see you in person in Aachen. We will also quickly, let me try this, put the link to the chat because I would love for you. Yes, perfect. So here's the link in the chat. Please use it and already save your spot for the LoftOS Summit 26. Looking forward to see you all there. And then, as usual, in the last 3 years as well, with a city tour, with a buffet, and with some cocktails afterwards. All these will be not happening tonight, but next year it will happen again. Thank you so much for joining us the entire day. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you for the team, and especially Florian, for all put this together. It was a lot of effort in the last weeks to prepare all this. For me, it was a wonderful summit, as I said as well. Already a new record in participants. Of course, digitally, not everyone shows up. That's normal. But thank you a lot for being with us. And I'm super happy to then see you in person again on November 5, 26 in Aachen, Germany. Thank you a lot and have a nice evening or a nice day wherever you are.